I sat alone in our apartment, surrounded by silence, where laughter used to live. 5 years of marriage, 5 years of building dreams together, and Lauren told me we married too young. She signed the divorce papers without looking back, leaving me for Derek, her wealthy ex. I thought that was the end of our story. But 6 months later my phone rang. Lauren's name appeared on the screen. The same woman who chose luxury over love was now calling, begging for help. What could she possibly want? Before I share this story with you, let me know where you are watching from today. Drop your location in the comments below. If you have ever been through heartbreak, or know someone who has hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, trust me, you will want to stay until the end of this one. Sometimes life has a way of bringing justice when you least expect it. My name is Kent, and I need to take you back to where it all began. I first met Lauren at the Ohio State University Library during our sophomore year. I was struggling with a calculus problem, papers scattered everywhere, when this girl with dark brown hair walked up and asked if the seat across from me was taken. I looked up, and I swear, her smile made me forget every equation I had ever learned. She had these warm hazel eyes that seemed to hold entire conversations without saying a word. Lauren was studying marketing while I was grinding through mechanical engineering. We were from completely different worlds academically, but something just clicked between us. Our first date was nothing fancy. We grabbed cheap coffee from the campus cafe and talked for 4 hours straight. She told me about growing up in a small town outside Cincinnati, about her dreams of working for a big advertising agency someday. I told her about my family in Columbus, about my dad Carl, who worked at a factory his whole life, and my mom Eleanor, who taught elementary school for 30 years. We dated for 3 years through college. Those were some of the happiest and hardest times of my life. We were broke most of the time, surviving on ramen noodles and frozen pizzas. I remember one winter when the heater in my apartment broke, and Lauren came over with 3 blankets and a thermos of hot chocolate. We huddled together watching movies on my old laptop, and she said something I never forgot. She said, "Kent, I do not need fancy things. I just need you." I believed her with my whole heart. The night I graduated, I got down on one knee in the parking lot outside the engineering building. The ring was small, bought with 3 months of part-time job savings, but Lauren cried like I had given her the Hope Diamond. She said yes before I even finished asking the question. Her hands were shaking when I slipped that ring on her finger. We got married that summer in a small church ceremony. My sister Sophie was the maid of honor. Marcus, my best friend since high school, stood as my best man. Our families filled the modest chapel, and I remember looking at Lauren walking down the aisle thinking I was the luckiest man alive. We could not afford a honeymoon, so we spent a weekend at a cabin 2 hours outside Columbus. It was perfect. The first few years of marriage were everything I had hoped for. I landed a job at Midwest Manufacturing as a junior mechanical engineer. The pay was not great, but it was stable and there was room to grow. Lauren found work at a small advertising agency downtown. We rented a 2-bedroom apartment in the suburbs, nothing special, but it was ours. Every piece of furniture we owned came from thrift stores or hand-me-downs from family. We did not care. We were building something together. I still remember those evenings after work. Lauren would experiment with new recipes, while I helped chop vegetables. We would eat dinner at our tiny kitchen table, talking about our days, making plans for the future. Weekends were for exploring free attractions around Ohio, hiking trails, picnics in the park, movie nights on our second-hand couch, simple pleasures that meant everything. After 3 years, I got promoted to senior engineer. The raise was not huge, but it was enough that we started putting money aside for a down payment on a house. Lauren talked about wanting children in a few years, maybe 2 kids, a boy and a girl. I started picturing myself teaching a son how to throw a football, walking a daughter down the aisle someday. Life was good, really good. Then Derek Holloway walked back into our lives. It was a Thursday evening in October. Lauren came home from a networking event her company had sent her to. Something about her seemed different, but I could not pinpoint what. She was talking faster than usual, her cheeks slightly flushed. She mentioned running into someone from high school. Derek Holloway. Her ex-boyfriend from senior year. I knew the name. Lauren had told me about him early in our relationship. They dated for about a year in high school, before breaking up when Derek went to some expensive East Coast business school. She always described their relationship as young and immature, a high school thing that did not mean much. I had never felt threatened by it. But that night something shifted. Lauren could not stop talking about Derek. She told me about his company, some investment firm he had started. She mentioned his penthouse downtown, his Porsche, the deals he was closing worth millions of dollars. Her eyes had this sparkle I had not seen before. Not when she talked about us, not when she talked about our future. This was different. I tried to brush it off. So her ex became successful. Good for him. It did not change anything about our marriage. I told myself I was being paranoid. Over the following weeks, Lauren started changing in small ways. She bought new clothes, expensive ones that did not match our budget. She started going to the gym more, getting her hair done at nicer salons. When I asked about it, she said she was trying to look more professional for work. She was aiming for a promotion and needed to impress clients. I wanted to believe her, I really did. But then, the late nights started. Lauren would text me that she had client dinners, networking events, meetings that ran long. She was never specific about who these clients were. When she came home, she was distant, distracted, always on her phone. I noticed she started tilting the screen away from me when texting. One evening, I saw a message notification pop up on her phone while she was in the shower. It was from Derek. I only caught the first few words before the preview disappeared. Last night was amazing, I cannot wait to. My stomach dropped. When Lauren came out, I asked her about Derek. I tried to keep my voice calm. One stages remained, one stages one stand. She looked at me with those hazel eyes and told me Derek was helping her connect with potential clients for the agency. He had influential contacts, and this could be her big break. She said I was overthinking things, that I needed to trust her. So I did. Because that is what you do when you love someone. You trust them. Even when every instinct is screaming that something is wrong. You choose faith over fear. And sometimes that choice destroys you. The night everything fell apart started as an anniversary celebration. Not our wedding anniversary, but the anniversary of our first date. 8 years since that day in the library. I had planned it for weeks. I left work early, stopped by the florist for her favorite flowers, and spent 2 hours preparing her favorite pasta dish from scratch. I set up candles around our small dining table, put on the playlist of songs from our college days. When Lauren walked through the door, she saw the setup and froze. I expected a smile, maybe tears of happiness. Instead, her face crumpled, and she started crying. But these were not happy tears. "We need to talk, Kent." Those 4 words. Everyone knows what they mean. Nothing good ever follows those 4 words. I turned off the music. The candles suddenly felt ridiculous. Lauren sat down on the couch, and I sat across from her, my heart already breaking before she said a single word. She told me she was not happy. She said we got married too young, before either of us really knew what we wanted from life. She felt like she had missed out on experiences, on opportunities. Our life together was fine, she said, but fine was not enough anymore. She wanted more. She deserved more. I asked her what that meant. What more did she want? Was there something I could change? Something we could work on together? I would do anything. Couples counseling, a vacation, whatever she needed. I loved her. We could fix this. That is when she told me about Derek. She admitted they had been seeing each other. It started as innocent meetings catching up on old times. But it grew into something more. Derek showed her a life she never knew existed. 5-star restaurants, weekend trips to cities she had only seen in magazines, a penthouse with views of the entire city. He made her feel special, desired, alive. I felt like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart until it burst. I asked her if she loved him. She could not look me in the eyes. "I think I do," she whispered. I asked her what Derek could give her that I could not. She finally met my gaze. "Everything, Kent." He can give me everything. Can you? I had no answer. Because the truth was, I could not compete with a millionaire. I could not offer penthouses, or Porsches, or European vacations. I was just a senior engineer with a stable job and a modest savings account. I was just a man who loved his wife with everything he had, and apparently that was not enough. 2 weeks later, the divorce papers arrived. Lauren had already talked to a lawyer. She was not asking for much, just half of our savings account. No alimony, no fight over assets. She wanted a clean break. I think that hurt more than if she had tried to take everything. It meant our life together was so insignificant to her that she did not even want pieces of it. I called my mom that night. I had not cried since my grandfather's funeral when I was 15, but I sobbed on the phone like a child. Mom listened without interrupting, then told me something I did not want to hear but needed to. You cannot make someone stay who wants to leave Kent. Let her go, and find yourself again. Marcus came over with a six-pack and sat with me until 3 in the morning. He did not try to offer solutions or silver linings. He just sat there being a friend when I needed one most. I signed the papers on a Tuesday afternoon. The apartment felt like a tomb. Every corner held a memory that now felt like a lie. The kitchen where we cooked together. The couch where we watched movies. The bedroom where we had talked about our future children. The day Lauren came to pick up her belongings, she brought Derek with her. He waited outside in his silver Porsche while she packed 2 suitcases of clothes and personal items. She moved efficiently, like she was erasing herself from my life. I stood by the window, watching her carry her bags out to his car. Derek opened the trunk without getting out, without even acknowledging my existence. Lauren loaded her things, got in the passenger seat, and they drove away. I watched until the Porsche disappeared around the corner. Then I closed the blinds and sat in the darkness for a very long time. The months that followed were the darkest of my life. I went through the motions of existing. Wake up, go to work, come home, stare at walls, try to sleep, repeat. Food lost its taste. Activities lost their meaning. I dropped 15 pounds because I kept forgetting to eat. My work suffered. Mr. Patterson, my supervisor, called me into his office after I missed a deadline for the first time in my career.